I'm going to open up this wired version of the Eufy dual doorbell thing and try to put this up. I'm not sure if it's going to work for us though, because I can't find our transformer for the doorbell. I've looked in the closets, I've looked in the garage, I've looked in the attic, I've looked behind the doorbell chime thingy. I've looked everywhere, can't find it. So I'm not sure if our transformer for the doorbell has enough oomph to actually allow you to use this one, which requires, I think, 16 to 24 volts. Hopefully it does and it won't be a problem. If it does have a problem, then I'll just have to maybe try the battery version or something. But anyway, let's see what's in the box. So zoom out a little bit here. We've got a screw hole positioning card. We have got, well, that's all it comes in. Oh, look, it unfolds. Look at that. You got little Eufy monitoring sticker. Oh, a sticker. Okay. And you've got a frequently asked questions something. Okay. Quick start guide. And then on the one side, you've got, let's see. This looks like this is the angled mounting bracket. This is probably what we're going to use because our doorbell thing is on one side of the house. It's on the right side of the door. It looks like we've got a little USB, a micro USB maybe, to USB-A, little cable, and we have got the doorbell itself. Now the wired doorbell is much, much smaller than the battery version of the same thing. There's differences. It's hard to tell the differences, but there are differences. This one, the wired version has 3 seconds pre-recording, but it also does not ring the actual doorbell itself. So you come with a chime box, and then you can also wire it up to like your Alexas that you have around the house. It has 2 cameras, like so, and then on the other end, it comes with a little chime box, and that's what this should be. Oh, you got the little plug, and you got the little, I don't know if this is to stick in a birthday cake or something. I don't know what that is, but it feels heavy. And then we've got something that you need to jumper for the original chime, optional. Okay, well, may or may not need to use that. Got a little cable with some wire connectors, and then we've got, boy, a lot of stuff. Screws and drywall things, and you got the chime box. And here's the chime box. Try and get the thing open. So we are upgrading from a dumb doorbell. We currently have an Arlo system, but, oh, it's upside down. So you can stick this one on just like this, somehow. You stick it on and twist, there we go. Ta-da! And then this is like a chime box. We can also hook it up with our Alexas that we have throughout the house, and then that'll let, you know, the whole house chime. Because right now, the doorbell's downstairs and no one can ever hear it, especially if you're upstairs. It's too short, it goes ding dong, and that's it. All right, so that's what you get. So the instruction book kind of tells you what's going on. It shows you what the overview is here, and basically how the system works. It says that there's 2 parts. One's the video doorbell at the ports, the other's the electronic chime plugged into the indoor socket. In order to get power from the doorbell circuit, you need to bypass the existing doorbell chime on the circuit. And that's what we're gonna have to do at the doorbell box. So first thing we gotta do is charge it up. It comes with this little cable. My dog's making noises next to me. I'm gonna use just a USB charger plug thing from an iPhone to actually plug it in. The back end goes into the back of the doorbell right here, micro USB, plug it in, make sure the direction is correct. And then I'll plug it in the wall. Got it plugged in now, and what you gotta do now is go into the Eufy app and actually set it up. All right, so in the Eufy app, you can see we just go right into the video doorbell duo, the wired version. That's the one we're gonna be using. Then you have to allow access to the camera, and then scan a little QR code on the back. And see if we can get that to work here. Looks like it worked. All right. Then we just add the device, click next. It says to plug it right in. And you have to wait until the indicator turns green. It did that. Allow location. And the standard enable Wi-Fi. Going into that, all right. Type the password in.
Press the sync button until you hear the beep.
All right, so you heard what it said. Press the sync button. That's what that little stick thing we saw at the beginning was, but I didn't know what it was. It's used to hit this button, but it's also used to remove the doorbell from the wall, which we'll see later on. All right, it's then going to ask you to scan a QR code that's on the phone using your doorbell. So you hold the doorbell straight up to the doorbell camera, right up to your phone, and then it'll sync. Now it'll connect to Wi-Fi. I'm cutting out a few little parts that take a little bit longer, just for to keep the video moving along here. It shows a little intro video. Now I'm gonna sync the little chime that it comes with by pushing on the sync button that's on it, and then we should be good. Button down. And beeped. And now it is going to it's connected, so it's pretty easy, pretty straightforward. You can add people to invite, but yeah, and then it takes us right into the app. All right, so it's hooked up. What I want to do though, because I'm unsure if it's actually going to work, because I'm not sure what the voltage is on my transformer and I can't find it, is before I actually mount anything, I'm just going to take the old doorbell off, hook it up, see if it works. Then if it works, then I'll take it off and then do the proper mounting procedure. I just don't want to like be drilling holes and stuff and then turns out it doesn't even work after all and basically have unnecessary holes in the wall. So that's the plan. All right, so I have the power off at the breaker. So what I need to do is to pull off this cover plate on the doorbell itself. All right, let's try this again. Gotta pop off this cover. There we go. And what you're gonna see is you're gonna have rear, trans, and front. And what you're gonna do is take those little connectors and connect, I believe it's the trans and the front together. And that's gonna bypass the actual doorbell part itself. So let's do that now. I've got a jumper for the original chime. Here it is. It came with it. They actually give you an extra one as well. Before I do anything though, I'm going to actually take this little handy dandy electricity checker majig thing and make sure there's no electricity running through there. I did shut it off at the breaker. The bell doesn't sound, but I just want to make sure that I'm not going to electrocute myself this morning because, you know, it's a little bit too early for that and I haven't had a sufficient amount of coffee to deal with being electrocuted. So looks good, we're good to go. I can touch. Good. So as you can see here, you've got trans and front. Those are the two I think you're supposed to connect. Double checking the instruction manual. That is correct. Hook trans and front together. Let's see if I can do this while holding it. I probably can't. I'm going to need a Phillips driver and kind of undo those and then stick these on. I want a good connection. So what I'm going to do is take a Phillips driver, unscrew those, put these in there and then screw them back in. If I just kind of do it wonky and just kind of stick it in there, it might fall out and then it might not work properly. So let's grab a Phillips driver. All right, let's see if I can get a decent angle once again so that you can kind of see, but I can use both of my hands. Yeah, tighten. Good enough. All right, so go up here. Unscrew a little bit of both the trans and the front. I've never installed this really. How did they do? They had like the world's longest. What is that? They like wrapped it around in this look at how long they made that. Gee whiz. World's longest wire there. I want to cut that off a little bit. That's just too long. Yeah, I might cut that off. Take a look at this. Whoever installed this decided to install the world's longest wire on that middle one. Look at that. That's insane. All right, I'm gonna get something to cut it off with. That's just too long. Handy dandy wire strippers. All right, I'm just gonna snip off a little bit of that ridiculously long thing whoever installed this put on there. It doesn't need to be that long. It can be a fraction of the size. There we go, much better. Look how much I snipped off, like this much. Crazy. All right. Let me throw it away so I don't sit on it or something. Don't want to stick it on my piano. Almost stuck it on my piano seat, and that would have been a nasty surprise after I forgot about it later. And yeah, so back up to here. We want to leave these existing wires on there. We're not changing that, but we are. Look, this other one's super long too. Whoever did this really went to town on these things. My goodness. Look at how long this sucker is. Like wrapped it around and around. All right, so we're gonna stick it on the trans. Let's see, it's kind of not much room, so I'll put it on this side and front. Actually, I should do it up because there's more room up than there is down. So I'll put it on this side of the trans one, and this side of the front one. Good, and then tighten it down. Just so they don't move that much. Not that this thing is gonna be like jostled very much being up so high and whatnot, but still you don't want it to like disconnect on you. So what I'm gonna do is not anything right now. I'm not gonna put the cover back on because I really wanna make sure it works before I do anything permanent. All right, so as a recap, what we've done is we've bypassed the doorbell up there with the thingy. We've plugged in and synced the chime with the doorbell itself and linked it with the account. But now is the question, does the transformer that's somewhere hidden in my house have the minimum 16 volts required to actually power the wired one, or am I gonna have to return this? As I said, I've looked for this transformer everywhere and I can't find it. I've checked the garage, I've checked the attic, I've checked the closets, I've checked the doorbell multiple times, including behind it. I checked everywhere. I can't find it. I've pulled the doorbell off the thing. I've checked the outlet below the doorbell. I was like, can't find it. It's somewhere, can't find it. Anyways, we're gonna see if it works before we do anything permanent, like start drilling holes and stuff. So the next step is going to be go out, take off the old doorbell, hook up the new doorbell, and hope that it works. If it works, then I'll put the permanent stuff on. If it doesn't, I'll just undo everything and send it back. All right, here's the outside doorbell. I'm going to pull it off. Again, there's no power because I shut everything off. So unscrew, and there are 2 screws on the back. I'm sorry, 2 wires in the back. But the bottom one isn't even like mounted in there well. It must be, that area must be stripped. All right, that's okay. So we got it out. And pull it off, and here we go. So I'm gonna undo these existing wires, and it says in the instructions that it doesn't matter which terminal you plug each one onto. So as long as it's alternating current, it shouldn't matter in this case. All right, so let's throw this on. Put this over here. So now the question, I'm gonna stick one. So these are the 2 things you stick it onto on the back here. So I'm gonna slightly undo them. This is a pretty big, I might have to get a smaller Phillips driver. Yeah, this is too big. I'm gonna get a smaller Phillips driver. I've said this before, but getting a little like mini screwdriver set thing is definitely a necessity for every house. All right. And I just have some no-name brand off of Amazon. I think I got when we first moved here. So I'm gonna unscrew this just slightly on both of these. I'm gonna stick one on one. All right, let's put the let's do this one here, I suppose. I'll wrap it around, make a little C shape. Wrap this around on one. Oops. Oops, I'm having a little trouble here this morning. I could have gotten a little pair of like needle nose pliers, but I don't think you really need the. It's pretty, whatchamacallit. The wires are pretty thin, so you can pretty easily bend them with your hands, with your fingers. This around, that around. All right, so now they're hooked up. And I think they're hooked up good enough that I could actually let it go and kind of let this thing support its own weight, which is the plan, because now I'm gonna go and turn on the power. So I turn the power back on. Now we gotta see if this thing works. It looks like the blue light is on, so that's a positive sign. That is definitely a positive sign. We'll see if it works. Give it a moment to turn on or whatever before we do a more permanent fix. I'm gonna check it with the app and see if that works as well. So as you can see, we lucked out and it seems to be working. I connected it, the light's on, it shows in the app, I can hear myself, see myself on the app. So now what we're gonna do is make this a permanent thing. So we'll shut off the power again. And here we go. First thing we can do before I do much is just to close back up that doorbell thing because it's working. So that's an easy thing. All I have to do is grab the doorbell cover, go on up there, and pop it back on again. Now this doorbell cover does not, is not gonna actually work as a doorbell anymore. So we're gonna use that little chime box, and our house has, I have Alexas in pretty much every room in the home. So we have that I can set up as well. So the recommendation is to mount it, if you don't have holes already, 48 inches off the ground, which is a little bit higher than the house came itself. So I'll see what it is. Ideally I want to cover up that, messy looking thing over there. So I'll put it around there. So it'll probably be close to where it was. Maybe I'll try to make the bottom end be as close to the, because this is a longer doorbell. You make the bottom end be close to the bottom there. I has come to inspect. Do we pass inspection? Yes. All right, so it's time to remove the doorbell now that we got everything checked out and it's working. I'm gonna remove it, and then we can put the mounting brackets on. Easy. So as you can see, my house, this is to the right, it's 9 degrees. The door is over here to the left. So I want to use this, I'd like to use this mounting bracket that it comes with. Now, I figured out here on the back, this comes off. So this has a this side up thing, so this always has to be up. But you can mount the other side either way. So if you need it to the left, it works. If you need it to the right, that works. And I obviously need it to the right because I want to see a little bit more out toward the street, not like looking into my house. So that's what we're going to be using. It comes with this, which nicely lines up with the holes here. So we can use this as kind of a placeholder to get the screws in properly. I think I'll actually center it. It looks a little bit better if it's not like up above this line, but also if I do that, then I'll be able to reuse that top hole, I think, and that'll have less holes in the siding. So, and the difference between this high and this high is pretty negligible, I think. So I'm gonna try that. It comes with different size screws, as you can see. I got a couple of the small ones, there's a few big ones. I'm gonna use the smaller ones to start and see if those work. Line this up with the existing hole. Looks like that's gonna work. And kind of drill nice and slow. Keep it nice and straight. Oh, I don't need to do it that tight, I think. Actually, I might need to use the bigger screw because the difference might be because of the, I think it'll work, but I want it to go in. How far is this going in? Oh, it's going in deep enough, that's fine. Well, let's try one more time. Line it up, stick it in. It doesn't have to be too tight. I don't really let's kind of do it like that for now so we can line up the bottom one as well. Make sure that one, now this isn't gonna go into the same hole, but I want it to be straight. Actually, let me get a level out. I got a level, so I'll make sure it's level. I wanna put it on there funky. That's pretty good. What the top? Oops. I can adjust it a little bit later. It's close enough. There is wiggle room. I actually do need a level. I can't tell if it's straight out. This one, unfortunately, is not magnetic, you see. There we go. That's good. That looks good. Whole started. Now I can give it some elbow grease. Why did that part chip off? I don't know. That's straight. According to the level it is. Level it out, level it out. Looks good. This side too. Tighten this up a bit. That's good. Good. All right. Now it's time to reattach the wires back to the doorbell. So just as before, we're gonna have these unscrewed slightly. Oh, I got the wrong screwdriver here. All right. Unscrew these slightly, so there's a little bit of a gap, and then stick these right on. So I'm going to stick one onto there, and I want these to be on here good. So I'm going to like kind of twist them so they have a nice, sharp kind of circular bend to them. So I'll hold one, have it bend around nicely like that, and tighten. And I want it to be a little bit further up there, so I'm gonna put a little bit more of a bend. Oh, this one didn't bend well, so one more time. These are very thin wires, so they're pretty bendable with your fingers. Oh, gotta undo it a bit more. Sorry if the angle's a little bit bad, but all I'm doing is just looping them around these screws. just like so. Bend them around the screw. And then tightening the, oops, now poopy. Let's see. Bending up. I want to get a nice sharp bend here. Wow, at this rate I'm going to end up dropping the doorbell on the ground. Let's see, no, I won't. I won't. I'm just going to stick it in. Sorry, you probably can't see very well. Stick it in and tighten. I want a good connection here. And this is making it a little difficult. Make a nice sharp bend. Let's try that. So a really sharp hook. And see if I can get it. Go. That's good. And then, oh, no, it's not good. It came out. I could strip away a little bit more of the wire if I want. If I kind of pull it a bit, it might help until I can get just long enough till I get it tight. There we go. That's pretty good. It's a good connection. And then the final one. Loop this one around as well. This one's much longer, so it'll be easier to get that kind of up in there. Bend it around too. There we go. So now they're connected pretty well. Now you kind of just stick it back into there. There's a little hole area that it can go. The bottom clicks on. Get it all clean. Bottom clicks on first, and then the top. Well, hooks and then click, just like that. That's pretty good. All right, now it's going to time to go turn it on. I'm actually going to use this little, this is like a doorbell removing pin as well. There's a hole in the top and you push it in and it tops it off. I'm going to, no, that's fine. I was gonna make sure there's enough room in there. There's plenty of room. There's nothing that's gonna be touching anything. I was wondering if I should just slightly trim that bit off a little bit. Maybe I'll do that. Just on the right one, the extra long side. Oops, wrong one. Or maybe just loop it around a little bit more. Oh, well, it came off itself. Look at that. It just fell right off. Okay, well, now we have a really short end. That's going to be a different problem. So what we're going to have to do is probably strip a little tiny bit of that off. Yeah, probably. Let's try that again. Then hopefully this won't fall off. Hopefully the other one will hold it. Let me make sure that's tight. Okay. All right. So that it just fell off the really long side. It cut itself. So. I don't even know what kind of gauge wire this is. It's tiny, so I'm just gonna use, trying to get a little tiny bit of it off. It's not 12, it's probably like 18, maybe it's 18, no, it might be 20 to 22. I mean, it's tiny. I don't want too much off. I think it's 18 to 22 gauge wire. Yep, got it. Peel a little bit of it off. All right, let's stick it back on there. Oops, actually, I don't think I got it all off. Cut a little bit of it. That's all right. That's probably fine. Yeah, maybe need a little bit longer. All right, one more time. So this is 20 to 22 gauge wire, apparently. This little tiny yellow thing. Let me get it untangled, that would help as well. Tiny little wire. hard to strip it. I do the spin around thing and then pull, and it's like barely latches on. It's so small. You can almost just get it. You can kind of get it off with your fingernail just about. It's so thin. There you go. That'll do it. Just get it off with your finger. It's almost easier to get it off with your fingernail. Just rip off a little bit. All right. Perfect. All right. So I'm gonna make a little hook. Oops, I don't know if I'll be able to make a hook. This one doesn't want to hook so much. All right, stick it on there. I could get a pair of needle nose pliers if I really wanted to, but I think it's all right. Stick it on here. Make sure the metal is touching the screw. Come on, bend down. Tighten. Get a good connection there. Both of them have a good strong connection. And that should be good. Twist this around a little bit. That should be good. Looks like it's good. Stick it back in the hole. And click it back on. Now I'm gonna turn on the power. It's like we're getting power. That's good. That's good. And now we're gonna be able to test it out. So I'll kind of clean it off a little bit. It's gonna get dirty. It's gonna be outside, but looks like it is working. So now I can go in and test. So I just got a human notification, so it seems to be working. All right, let's test this out. All right, so you can kind of see what we got here. You got the top and the bottom camera. The bottom camera shows you on the ground. Top camera can show you, over where the packages usually go, and then you can also kind of see to the left, down where the front entrances and whatnot. Yeah, very good. Let's try ringing the bell. Oh, maybe this is anything on the There's also a device diagnostic thing in the app, and it also confirmed that the transformer that I have that's hidden somewhere in the house is good. All right, when someone pushes the doorbell, now the whole house goes. So it announces all around the house, and all the Amazons go off and announce that someone's here. Super.